Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next hour, India's victorious T20 Cricket World Cup team returns home from Barbados. Thousands of fans gather at the New Delhi airport to welcome the players. US President Joe Biden rejects growing pressure to abandon his re-election campaign, says he is in this race till the end. Polls to open soon in the UK. Opinion polls show that the centre-left Labour Party is set for a big win that would end 14 years of Conservative government. Hurricane Beryl lashes Jamaica with life-threatening high winds and waves, breaks all records on its devastating path across the Caribbean. And India's External Affairs Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar to join world leaders at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Kazakhstan. Right, first up, the big news we are tracking here on DD India News Hub. India's T20 Cricket World Cup winning team has landed in New Delhi from Barbados. Thousands of fans greeted the players at the airport as they came out. India ended an 11-year-long wait for an ICC title on the 29th of June, beating South Africa in the summit clash in a nail-biting thriller. And after landing in New Delhi with the T20 World Cup trophy, the Rohit Sharma-led team reached the ITC Maurya Hotel amidst tight security, where a special breakfast was prepared for them. So after reaching New Delhi from Barbados, the Indian contingent will board a chartered flight for Mumbai. The BCCI will host a ceremony at the Wankhede Stadium in the evening to felicitate the victorious team. Rohit Sharma's side will take a ride on an open-top bus in a parade from the National Centre for Performing Arts at Nariman Point to the iconic Wankhede Stadium. And my colleague Narayan Singh joins us for more. Narayan, good morning to you. Tell us more about the Indian team's return home with the World Cup trophy.
Good morning, Ramesh. We can say that it's a great day for the Indian cricket fans and for the cricketers also, the kind of grand welcome they received at the airport in New Delhi. And thousands of fans, we can say that, were assembled here, and a flurry of media persons were there to take a, we can say that fans were here to take a glimpse of their iconic cricketer as they returned home after winning the T20 World Cup trophy in Barbados. And we can say that these fans makes the sport great. And when we talk to fans, they say that they were throughout the night, they didn't sleep to come here and to take a glimpse of these fans. And in that sense, we can say that a different atmosphere was here. The fans are holding the banners of their favorite players, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Hardik Pandya, and even of the coach Rahul Dravid. So it shows that what kind of adulation these cricketers are enjoying, and these are the fans who makes the game great. And all in all, we can say that this World Cup is like a cup of hope, and it has induced a fresh impetus in the hearts of the Indian cricket fans, considering the fact that it's been long that India hasn't won a major ICC trophy. Last time they won the Champions Trophy in 2013 under MS Dhoni, and before that they won World Cup in 2011, and India won the inaugural edition of the T20 World Cup in 2007, and after a long gap after 17 years, again they are winning this trophy. So it was a moral booster for not only for the cricketers, for the fans also, and also not only for the Indian cricket and for the world cricket also, because we know that the TRP and the popularity of cricket a lot depends on the success of the Indian cricket team. And exactly after a long gap, they did that thing. They won the T20 World Cup, and fans are happy, players are happy, and we can say that a different atmosphere is there right now in the country.
Indeed, the entire nation, Narayan, is happy and ecstatic at the return of the World Cup to India. Now, you are at the airport as we speak, but the team has left for the hotel and reached the hotel a few kilometers away from the airport. Now, talk to us a bit, if you will, about a grand welcome that awaits the team in New Delhi and Mumbai. What's been planned?
There were two legs, Ramesh, of this grand welcome. First, we witnessed in the morning at the airport, the players came and a large number of a sea of fans were there to welcome them. And after that, they went to hotel, and after that in Delhi they will meet Prime Minister Modi, and in the second leg it will take place in Mumbai, and there will be an open bus parade, victory parade in Mumbai, and after that there is a small function at the iconic Wankhede Stadium where the players will be felicitated. So we can say that the players are just enjoying the victory, and the fans, we can say that the reception they are getting from the fans. So all in all, it's a big win, not only for the cricketers, for our fans also, and for the world cricket also. And if we talk about this cricket World Cup, especially why this victory was important, why this victory is big, because first time a team is winning a World Cup remaining unbeaten, the T20 World Cup. And PM Modi also mentioned in his message when Team India won the World Cup in Barbados, and in his message PM Modi also said that this World Cup is very special because first time a team has won a World Cup without losing a match. They remain unbeaten and they are the invincible team. And apart from that, the way they played throughout the tournament, we can say that it was a complete team effort. And this win, this trophy will not only help the Indian cricket, but it also take the world cricket, we can say, at a different level. And when India is winning the World Cup, they are winning the trophies. It also, we can say that takes the popularity of the game at a different level.
Narayan, as you rightly said, this is the fourth World Cup that India has won. The first time in 17 years India has won a T20 World Cup, and the first time since the ODI World Cup trophy in 2011. Now talk to us about the team's journey back home. The team was stranded in Barbados for a few days because of a hurricane, is it not?
It was otherwise the team would have been arrived early when the hurricane was there in Barbados, and because of that the airport was shut down. The Prime Minister of the Barbados was personally taking everything, notice of the everything, and also because the team was stranded there, and after that we should kudos to BCCI the way they managed, and especially to Jay Shah. Not only he just took care of the cricketers and the support staff, but also the media personals, the whole media, Indian media who was covering this mega event in US and West Indies. They also boarded on the same flight. So it's a great gesture by the BCCI, and definitely our media personals also came at the right time. So it's a good thing, and but apart from that, we can say that the kind of work done by the BCCI is great. Not only they are working for the Indian cricket, but also the kind of revenues the BCCI generate, with that revenue they are also helping the associate nation. Also the domestic cricket of the Indian, we can say that India has right now a world-class bench strength. If our 2 or 3 players even are not playing because of some reason, there are multiple players who can take fill their shoes. So this is the beauty of the Indian cricket, and after so much we can say that first they played in US, where the conditions, the pitches were very different. These pitches, in those pitches it was very difficult to bat for the Indian team, but they managed and they remain unbeaten. And again, when they shifted to West Indies for the group stage matches, for the group 8 matches, Super 8 matches and the semi-finals, again they showed their class and they won the World Cup, Ramesh.
Narayan, just to let you know, as we are speaking to you, we are also playing out the visuals for our viewers of a giant cake that's been made by the hotel to celebrate the Indian team's victory, and we'll get you those visuals, viewers, in just a bit of the cake cutting ceremony at the team hotel in New Delhi. But Narayan, just to wrap things up for our viewers here, have you had a chance to speak to any of the players or their coach yet since the team got home?
Ramesh, actually there was no formal media briefing because already the players were 2 or 3 days late here because of the Hurricane Beryl, and that's why they directly just boarded their bus and went to the team hotel. But the kind of gesture they got from the fans, even the fans were just dying to see a small glimpse of their cricketers, and when the cricketers just waved their hands to the fans, they were looking very happy and they were at the cloud 9, and a small gesture by the cricketers definitely made their day. But overall, if you take a look at this tournament, this trophy has lifted the mood of the whole nation. That is more important, I think, because it's been long, as we earlier mentioned, that India hasn't won an ICC major trophy since 2013, and after that multiple times we can say that they were all in every edition almost they were at the semi-finals. They lost 2 finals of the World Test Championship. Last year in 2023, they lost the final of the ODI World Cup. They also lost the 2022 T20 World Cup semi-final, and every time they are knocking the doors at the semi-final, they are also reaching the final, but somehow they were not able to lift any ICC trophy. But this time I think that team looked different. There was a different, we can say the difference in the intent was visible in this tournament also. When they were playing the final against the South Africa, there was clearly visible that India was almost losing that match, but there was no, we can say that there is no decrease in their intent, and they won a match which was almost out of their hands, and they just snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. Kudos to the team, and hopefully this intent and this blueprint of not to lose a match by playing few bad overs will it's a lesson to the world cricket.
All right, we leave it at that. Narayan, thank you so much for joining us at this historic celebratory hour for the Indian cricket team and the entire nation as a whole. And as promised, we'll get you the visuals of the cake cutting ceremony at the team hotel in New Delhi in just a bit, but still to come on DD India News Hour. In Nepal, all 8 ministers representing the CPN-UML party and Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachand's ruling coalition resigned. Israel unveils a makeshift museum that recounts the horrors of the 7th October 2023 attacks by Hamas. And the US celebrates the 278th anniversary of its founding on Thursday.
Welcome to Jaipur.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. It's election day in the United Kingdom. Polls will open at 0600 GMT. The opposition Labour Party looks set to take power for the first time in 14 years. Ollie Barrett reports from London.
Well, after a 6-week campaign, it is polling day in the UK. People going to the polls on Thursday in 650 constituencies up and down the country to elect members of Parliament to the House of Commons. Behind me, all of the polls heading into polling day have suggested that the current opposition Labour Party, led by Keir Starmer, look set to not just win a victory here at Westminster, but a significant majority of MPs at Parliament, and could therefore be a potentially powerful government being put into place come Friday of this week. It also means that Rishi Sunak, the current UK Prime Minister, looks very much set for his Conservatives to lose, and perhaps a crushing defeat for the Conservatives on the way. There have been all sorts of issues at play during this election campaign. The Labour Party have tried to make it an election about change. The Conservatives have tried to make it an election about taxation, because they claim, although Labour denies, that Labour would put up taxes for working people and families up and down the country. Immigration, healthcare, crime, international affairs have all been important topics as well heading into polling day. And when it comes to international affairs, whoever becomes the next Prime Minister will head almost immediately to Washington for a NATO summit. We also know that if the Labour Party gets in, they are saying that they would try and boost UK-India ties very quickly and pursue the UK-India trade deal that was elusive for the Conservatives. Ollie Barrett in London reporting for DD India.
Now, opinion polls, this time they are suggesting a loss for UK's Conservative Party and projecting a big win for Labour for the first time in 14 years. The polls suggest that Labour leader Keir Starmer is likely to be the country's next Prime Minister after Thursday's vote. Ollie Barrett has more.
All of the polls currently point in one direction ahead of the UK's election.
So it looks at the moment as if Labour will win and win easily.
That's not to say a win is guaranteed, but Rishi Sunak's Conservatives, in power in one form or another for 14 years, have struggled to eat into the Labour polling lead. So in the days after the election, Keir Starmer could be forming a government with a significant majority here at Parliament. That would bring huge opportunities for the centre-left party, but also huge challenges. After the COVID-19 pandemic, a war in Europe, a cost of living crisis, Britain's finances are creaking.
Well, the big issues facing the government that takes office on the 5th of July is that there are public service improvements needed in the UK, health service, railways, parts of the education system. Economic growth in the UK has been sluggish all the way back to 2008, in fact.
If Labour returns to power, the centre-left party's foreign policy is likely to include quite a lot of continuity with recent years. Relations with India will be a key focus.
We think so. I mean, look, India is the most exciting economic story in the world right now. We are in the middle of the Indian decade, at the start of the Indian century. And I think whoever's in power in the UK will recognise that and want to prioritise the relationship with India.
The Conservatives have also struggled with the rise of the right-wing Reform Party, which promises tougher action on immigration. Reform hopes to win the seaside seat of Clacton on the English south coast. Whatever happens there and elsewhere, it's already clear the makeup of the House of Commons will be very different. Ollie Barrett in London reporting for DD India.
And across the Atlantic, a delegation of governors from US states ruled by the Democratic Party has met with President Joe Biden following his debate performance last week that raised concerns about his mental fitness. Among them was California Governor Gavin Newsom, a longtime Biden ally. While Newsom's team says the California governor was there to stand with Biden, he is also seen as a possible replacement. DD India's Ira Spitzer reports from San Francisco.
With simmering concerns over Joe Biden's lackluster debate performance, speculation continues to grow on who might step in if the 81-year-old president bows out of his re-election bid, even though he insists he won't. One candidate often mentioned is California Governor Gavin Newsom, who's made a name for himself with his fierce criticism of Republicans like former President Donald Trump.
The governor and his team have positioned himself as a national leading Democratic voice and figure, someone who won't take sand kicked in their face by Republicans.
However, it's another Californian who may stand in Newsom's way.
The problem is that his political cousin is the vice president of the United States, and that's Kamala Harris from California.
The vice president, whose mother was from Chennai, India, has faced questions about her viability as a candidate on the national stage. Still, her supporters believe that she should be first in line if Biden falters.
You know, listen, she's the vice president. She's a black woman. That's very important in the Democratic Party. It's very important to the Democratic voter base. She's been underestimated most for her life, and she's done very well for herself. And I think she'd still be a very formidable candidate if she was at the top of the ballot.
A dream built on pushing boundaries.
Polls haven't shown that the vice president is weaker than other candidates, like Gavin Newsom, but the situation may change rapidly. However, the challenge from Harris and other leading Democrats like Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer isn't the only issue for Newsom in a potential presidential bid. One of the biggest problems for the California governor is that the state he has led for the past 5 years is currently viewed negatively by many Americans due to issues such as homelessness and crime. However, at 56 years old, more than 2 decades younger than both Joe Biden and Donald Trump, Newsom may be well positioned to energize voters concerned about the ages of the current candidates. Ira Spitzer reporting in San Francisco for DD India.
And amid all the speculations, US President Joe Biden vowed to stay in the 2024 presidential race during a call with campaign staff on Wednesday. He insisted in meetings with Democratic lawmakers and governors alike to show that he is fit for re-election despite his shaky debate performance last week. Biden dialed into a call with worried members of his campaign team and told them he was not going anywhere despite media reports that he might be considering an exit after a dismal debate performance last week against Republican contender Donald Trump. He said in an email, and I quote, "No one is pushing me out. I am not leaving. I am in this race to the end," unquote. The president met virtually and in person with 24 Democratic governors and the mayor of Washington, D.C. on Wednesday to reassure them. The White House said Biden is not contemplating stepping down as a presidential candidate.
What I can say is the president is moving forward. He's moving forward as being president. He's moving forward with his campaign, as his campaign has been very, very clear about that. That's what I can speak to, and that's what I can say, and that is the president's focus. The president's focus is how does he continue to do that work, and anything else that we're hearing or that's being reported is absolutely false.
The Democratic governors of New York, Minnesota and Maryland on Wednesday have declared their support to President Biden's re-election bid. The decision was taken after a meeting with Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris at the White House that included 24 Democratic governors and the mayor of Washington, D.C., some even joining online. Maryland Governor Wes Moore said the governors were frank in relaying negative feedback from constituents and added that there was clearly work to do before the 5th November election. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and New York Governor Kathy Hochul said they felt confident after the meeting, and all the governors pledged their support to Biden.
Came together tonight to listen to President Biden tell us in his own words what his plans were. I'm here to tell you today, President Joe Biden is in it to win it. And all of us said we pledged our support to him because the stakes could not be higher.
Yes, fit for office. The president has three and a half years of delivering for us, going through what we've all been through. None of us are denying. Thursday night was a bad performance. It was a bad hit, if you will, on that. But it doesn't impact what I believe. He's delivering.
Right, moving on, in Nepal, all 8 ministers representing the CPN-UML in Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal Prachand's ruling coalition have resigned. The ministers handed over their resignations to Prime Minister Prachand on Wednesday. After a 24-hour deadline given by the CPN-UML party expired, the key ally of the Dahal-led government walked out of the government. The party had given a one-day ultimatum to Prime Minister Dahal to step down from the post, which it called a respectful exit. After Prime Minister Prachand did not resign during the deadline, all CPN-UML ministers submitted their resignation collectively to the Prime Minister on Wednesday. Party Chair KP Sharma Oli had also sent a letter to Prime Minister Prachand withdrawing his party's support to the government, saying that the initiative to form a new government was taken with the aim of providing political stability with the formation of a government of national consensus. And now to updates on the Israel-Hamas conflict. Signs of renewed activity emerged on Wednesday in the quest for a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas in the 9-month-old conflict. This development follows Hamas's confirmation that they have exchanged some ideas with mediators in an effort to halt the aggression. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office in a statement said Israel is studying the document. Egypt, Qatar and the United States have all been trying for months now to secure a truce and the release of 120 remaining hostages in Gaza, but no deal has been done so far. Hamas says any deal must end the conflict and bring a full Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. However, Israel says it will accept only temporary pauses in the fighting until Hamas is eradicated. In a solemn testament to the horrors of the 7th October 2023 attacks by Hamas, a makeshift museum was unveiled at Nir Oz Kibbutz in Israel. A spokesperson for Israel's Southern District Front Command, Captain Adam Ibat, unveiled the museum. Inviting the world to bear witness, Captain Ibad stressed the museum's role in preserving the truth. The museum, initially unintended, serves as a poignant reminder of the magnitude of evil witnessed on that day. The museum's collection of 1,650 burnt vehicles stands as a testament to the terror unleashed upon Nir Oz kibbutz. Each car, once a testament to daily life, now tells a story of loss and survival in the face of unrelenting violence. In other news, the U.S. celebrates the 278th anniversary of its founding on Thursday. New Yorkers got a head start on the holiday as they prepare to celebrate Independence Day on the 4th of July. The holiday marks the passage of the Declaration of Independence, which granted the original colonies independence from British rule. People commonly celebrate with fireworks and barbecues. And still to come on DD India News Hour. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit Russia's capital Moscow for the first time since 2015. India's External Affairs Minister meets his counterparts from Central Asia and the United Nations Secretary General on the sidelines of SCO Summit in Kazakhstan. And a 3-member Judicial Inquiry Commission to investigate a stampede at a religious event in India that claimed 121 lives.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds, we get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. India's External Affairs Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar will represent the country at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit being held in Kazakhstan's capital, Astana. The two-day summit will adopt an important document to combat terrorism, separatism and extremism, echoing India's stand on countering terrorism and radicalization in the Eurasian region. The summit will also discuss an anti-drug strategy to counter the rising menace of drug addiction. Counter-terrorism figures high on India's agenda. New Delhi is keeping a close watch on efforts by some state and non-state actors to radicalize youths in the Central Asian region. Astana SCO Summit is being held under the slogan Strengthening Multilateral Dialogue, the Pursuit of Sustainable Peace and Development. Kazakhstan has also put forward major initiatives to create the SCO Investment Fund and a base of economic preferences. India's External Affairs Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar on Wednesday met UN Chief Antonio Guterres and discussed global hotspots and their larger implications apart from the reform of the UNSC. In a social media post, Minister Jaishankar said, "Always a pleasure to meet UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, appreciate his insights on the state of the world, discuss global hotspots and their larger implications." He said that he spoke about the reform of the United Nations Security Council, preparations for the Summit of the Future in September, and future prospects for meaningful India-UN partnership. And Minister Jaishankar met his counterparts from Central Asian nations on the sidelines of the SCO summit. Now, these meetings, covering a wide range of issues from bilateral to regional and global, highlighted India's growing engagement with nations in the region in recent years. Minister Jaishankar held talks with Tajikistan Foreign Minister Sirojuddin Muhyiddin to take stock of the bilateral relationship and cooperation on international fora. They exchanged views on the regional situation too. Minister Jaishankar met Belarus's Foreign Minister Maxim Ryzhenkov. He welcomed Belarus as the latest member of the SCO. During his meeting with Uzbekistan's Foreign Minister Bakhtiyor Saidov, Minister Jaishankar said he appreciated the steady progress in India-Uzbekistan ties. They discussed about ways to take it forward and to a higher level. And joining me for more is my colleague Akshay Dongre. Akshay, what more can you tell us about the participation by Minister Jaishankar at the ongoing SCO summit in Kazakhstan?
Well, Ramesh, we all know that Prime Minister Narendra Modi was supposed to go for this Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting, that is the leaders' meetings. However, due to his prior engagement of a tour to Russia, that he had to give this meeting a miss, and it is Dr. S. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, who is in fact leading the Indian delegation. Now, certain things are extremely clear as far as India's agenda is concerned. Now, this is perhaps one of the only forums that are multilateral forums working with both India as well as Pakistan now, and China as well. Now, you have a group where India has the opportunity to speak quite frankly and candidly about the issue of cross-border terrorism, where in this group, the SCO represents itself as a unique multilateral forum where it gives India the opportunity to work with both allies as well as opponents as far as the region is concerned. Now we have Pakistan that has been blamed to harbor homegrown terrorists as well as foreign terrorists, fund cross-border terrorism, in fact promote cross-border terrorism in certain instances as well. So there India has, in fact, last year as well, when it had the presidency of the SCO, where it had voiced the issue of cross-border terrorism, terror funding, and all of those issues that take not just India, but the entire world today, in fact, especially the South Asian region as well as the Central Asian region increasingly as well. Now, at the same time, it will also have China there in the group that has been supporting Pakistan on many instances. So this is a unique opportunity for Dr. S. Jaishankar to voice all of the concerns of India especially, and the opportunity to work together with the countries of the Central Asian region, especially the ex-Soviet countries and Russia there on several forums, including anti-cyber terrorism, then stopping cross-border terrorism, stopping terror funding, and work on the growth aspects of the countries as well. So that is perhaps going to be on the top of the agenda for Dr. S. Jaishankar as he attends the meeting of the leaders today.
Akshay, thank you. Appreciate it. Akshay Dongre reporting there from New Delhi. Now, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is set to visit Russia's capital, Moscow, for the first time since 2015. His previous visit to that country was in 2019 when he visited Vladivostok. He last met Russia's leader Vladimir Putin 2 years ago at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in Uzbekistan. Jessica Taneja reports from New Delhi.
India and Russia maintain deep economic and political ties that have remained resilient despite the constantly shifting geopolitical landscape. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit will be closely monitored globally, not only for its bilateral outcomes on economic and military ties, but also the anticipated discussions between the two leaders regarding the Ukraine conflict. India will continue advocating for dialogue and diplomacy to resolve the impasse. India's foreign policy is grounded in the principle of strategic autonomy. bolstered by a long-standing partnership with the Soviet Union and later Russia. This relationship has supported India through critical periods, providing defense supplies, assistance during wars, cooperation in nuclear energy, fossil fuels, and the Kashmir issue. Since 2010, the India-Russia Special and Privileged Strategic Partnership has expanded beyond traditional military and energy sectors. It is built on a strong historical foundation and often sustained by necessities. Recognizing its growing international role, Russia has backed India's membership in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and called for United Nations Security Council reforms to include India. India values Russia as a crucial partner in its multi-alignment strategy, where New Delhi refrains from forming exclusive alliances with any major power, thereby maintaining productive strategic partnerships with multiple countries. In December last year, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar visited Moscow and held talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. During his 5-day visit, 3 agreements were signed which included documents related to the Kundakalam nuclear power plants, a memorandum of understanding on pharmaceutical and healthcare cooperation, and a protocol on foreign office consultations. The Kremlin remains a significant geopolitical power that can help balance India's strategic concerns. It continues to offer diplomatic support to India in the UN Security Council and wields substantial influence in its broader continental neighborhood. Jessica Taneja for DD India.
A Canadian citizen of Pakistani origin is facing an extradition to India for his alleged involvement in the 2008 Mumbai terror attack. A U.S. attorney told the court that Rana, who is sought by India, is extraditable under the provisions of a U.S.-India treaty. DD India's Benji Haya reports from Washington, D.C.
Well, this was an argument made during the closing statement before a US court where Mr. Rana has been appealing. The case put forward against him was that he is extraditable from the United States to India under this treaty that exists between the two countries, and that India has established probable cause to prosecute him for his role in the Mumbai terrorist attack that resulted in 166 deaths. Mr. Rana, who is currently in a Los Angeles jail, is associated with David Coleman Headley. He's one of the main conspirators behind that devastating and fatal 60-hour siege across India's most populated city, orchestrated by members of a militant Islamist organization from Pakistan. Now, Rana was actually acquitted by a separate US court of charges directly abetting those attacks, but he was convicted of other terror charges in 2011. The 63-year-old's lawyer says he should not be extradited to a foreign country, India included, citing insufficient credible evidence. Benji Haya in Washington, reporting for DD India.
Moving on, the state government of northern India's Uttar Pradesh has set up a 3-member judicial inquiry commission to investigate the 2nd July stampede at a religious event in which at least 121 people lost their lives. A notification in this regard was issued by Governor Anandiben Patel late on Wednesday night local time. The commission, chaired by retired Justice of the Allahabad High Court, is tasked with completing its investigation within 2 months from the date of notification. The commission will investigate the prescribed points and submit the report to the state government. The commission will also investigate whether the incident was an accident, a conspiracy, or the result of a planned criminal act. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Asian stocks hit 27-month highs on Thursday. And a 9-year-old chess player of Indian origin set to become the youngest ever person to represent England in any international sport.
Jaipur.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Weather update from across the globe now. Hurricane Beryl has hit the island of Jamaica after bringing destruction for the last 2 days to the Caribbean. At least 9 people have been killed amid high winds and storm surges. Nick Harper reports.
Death, damage and destruction. Hurricane Beryl is continuing its path through the Caribbean. The storm has weakened from a Category 5 to a Category 4 storm, but it's still destroying island communities in its path. Parts of St Vincent and the Grenadines have been flattened, with 98% of homes and buildings reportedly destroyed on 2 small islands in Grenada. Evacuation orders were issued in Jamaica ahead of Beryl reaching the island. Winds of around 250 kilometres an hour have battered the area, with life-threatening storm surges several metres high. The director of the US National Hurricane Center earlier predicted devastating hurricane-force winds, 30 centimetres of rain, as well as flooding and mudslides on the island. The storm will be continuing its destructive path throughout this week, hitting the southern part of Haiti, then the Cayman Islands, before reaching the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico later this week. After that, Beryl is expected to reach the Gulf Coast of Texas. There, Governor Greg Abbott has directed state agencies to prepare and be ready to respond to help affected coastal communities. Abbott says officials will work around the clock to monitor the storm's path and the weather conditions to help protect people in the state. Beryl has already made history as the earliest Category 5 on record in the Atlantic Ocean, and scientists have warned the storm's severity sets a dangerous precedent for this year's hurricane season, which is only just getting underway. Nick Harper in Washington, reporting for DD India.
Meanwhile, China's eastern regions are bracing for possible flooding after water levels in the Yangtze River exceeded the warning mark following incessant rains. Nanjing, the capital of Jiangsu province in China's east, issued its second highest flood warning. Authorities banned vessels, including passenger ferries, from entering or operating in the river's Jiangsu section. The rain was expected to begin dissipating from the southern regions and begin shifting northwards from Wednesday night local time. Heavy rainfall in Vietnam's Ha Giang province triggered landslides and inundated several areas on Wednesday. Many houses and properties were submerged under the rising water levels. Landslides have damaged 27 homes. The flood has drowned more than 397 hectares of crop, 18 hectares of fish ponds, and led to the loss of more than 150 livestock. The flood situation in India's northeastern state of Assam remains critical as the Brahmaputra River and its tributaries flow above the danger mark. More than 1.6 million people have been affected in 29 districts of the state. 8 deaths were reported on Wednesday, taking the death toll to 46. Movement of commercial vehicles along the national highway passing through the Kaziranga National Park was prohibited to allow wildlife to move to safety. A red alert for extremely heavy rainfall has been issued for the state. Firefighters continue to battle a wildfire in the U.S. state of California on Wednesday. About 13,000 residents have been forced to evacuate their homes after an unchecked blaze burned 2,000 acres in the state. Time now for some business news. Asia stocks hit 27-month highs on Thursday as softer U.S. data narrowed the odds on a September rate cut there, boosting bonds and commodities while dragging on the dollar. A holiday in the U.S. made for thin trading as investors waited to see just how large a majority the Labour Party might get in the UK election. Markets are well prepared for a change given opinion polls have for months put the centre-left party on course for a landslide victory over the Conservatives. A run of subdued data means Citi's US Economic Surprise Index has sunk to 47.5, the lowest since August 2022. Meanwhile, the closely watched Atlanta Fed's GDP now estimate fell to just 1.5% from 1.7%. On to sports news now. 9-year-old chess prodigy Bodhana Sivanandan is set to make history as the youngest person ever to represent England at the Chess Olympiad in Hungary later this year. Bodhana, who hails from Harrow in northwestern London, will join the England women's team. She is currently ranked 30th in England in the women's category. Bodhana had won all 3 chess world championships for the under-8 age group last year. And now to all the action from Wimbledon. Defending champion Carlos Alcaraz and top seed Jannik Sinner took contrasting routes into the 3rd round of Wimbledon, but 8th seed Casper Ruud was unable to find a way through. Alcaraz came close to dropping the first set of his contest against Australian Alexander Vucic, but the 3rd seed sprang to life and blew away his opponent with a victory during which he showed flashes of last year's title-winning form. Sinner was dragged into a fight by fellow Italian Matteo Berrettini and surrendered the 3rd set tamely before battling to a 7-6, 7-6, 2-6, 7-6 win. Daniil Medvedev looked out of sorts, even losing track of the score at one point in his clash with the 102-ranked Alexander Muller before the 5th-seeded Russian prevailed 6-7, 7-6, 6-4, 7-5. Italian Fabio Fognini rolled back the years with a dazzling display to knock out Ruud and reach the 3rd round. 2nd seed Coco Gauff was also not at her best but reined in the errors to get past Romanian qualifier Anca Todoni. The American said she needed to win more cleanly despite dropping only 6 games in 2 matches. Wildcard Emma Raducanu showed her the way with a win over Elise Mertens, but it was the end of the road for fellow former US Open champion Naomi Osaka, who was beaten by American 19th seed Emma Navarro. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India News Hub. You can get all the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code to download it. And let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. All of us here in New Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.